Hello, this is All Guy in Hawaii with a quick instructional video on how to use these max damage weapon listings you see here. These two lists show the maximum damage value for every legendary weapon in Borderlands 3. The link to the Google Sheets file containing both is in the description below. This is in response to a request from B. Flatten, an awesome Canadian streamer and member of the Borderlands community. A link to his Twitch channel is also in the description below. I actually already referenced these listings in a video on why max damage does not always indicate max performance. That video is linked in the descriptions below as well. So there's a lot of links. Anyway, in any case, when you click on the link, you will actually find these three sheets or tabs. Okay, the first list to the leftmost tab is compiled by Kyler and it shows absolute max damage for every legendary weapon. If a weapon has a variant with more than one projectile count, this list shows the variant with the maximum combined damage. That's listed damage times the projectile count, typically the one with the most projectiles. That's what this total card damage column shows, okay? This tab over on the right end is for elemental weapon damage scaling. Most weapons, if they come in more than one element, get elemental weapon damage scaling. This means that non-elemental variants, which are the baseline, will have the highest damage value. Cryo variant will be 15% less than the non-elemental value. Corrosive fire and shock will be 20% less than the non-elemental value. Radiation variant will be 25% less than the non-elemental value. The exceptions to this rule are King's Calls, Queen's Calls, and any Maliwan weapon. They are not subject to elemental weapon damage scaling. The values listed here will be the same for those weapons regardless of element. Okay. Additionally, if the weapon only comes in a single element or is strictly non-elemental, we don't need to worry about elemental weapon damage scaling. This is the max value, okay? Breath of Dying only comes in corrosive, Firestorm only comes in fire, Monocle is strictly non-elemental, etc., okay? Now, if the weapon is subject to weapon damage scaling and can spawn in more than one element, including non-elemental, this converter does the math for us, okay? Simply plug in the listed value in the appropriate row up top. The corresponding other values are displayed below. So which column do we use? How do we know what element this main enter refers to? Well, see this note up top? It says 1, non-elemental, 2, corrosive, 3, cryo. If the gun comes in non-elemental and at least one other element, this is the non-elemental value. Okay. Sleeping Giant comes in non-elemental, fire, shock, and corrosion. This is the non-elemental value. We want to know the fire, shock, or corrosive values. We plug this number in here. There you go. There's your fire, shock, corrosion. Okay. If it doesn't come in non-elemental, but does come in at least two other elements, and it's not a Maliwan or a King or a Queen's Call, then this is the corrosive and or fire and or shock value. Okay. Plague Bearer comes in all elements except non-elemental. This is the corrosive fire shock value. Plug that in here, and here's our cryo value, and here's our radiation value. Okay, so if it doesn't come in any variant except cryo and radiation, this is the cryo value, except that there aren't any guns that only come in cryo or radiation that aren't Maliwan. Okay, so we can pretty much ignore that. Now, all of this assumes we know what elements are or are not possible for a particular weapon. If we are not sure, there are numerous YouTube videos on pretty much every legendary weapon, plus 3 very good websites: Fandom Wiki, Loot Lemon, and Mental Mars. Okay, check them out. Okay, so those two tabs and the original file were compiled and posted by Kylar. Okay, this tab, this sheet in the middle, is my list. This list breaks out each elemental variant, including non-elemental, into a separate column. If a column, or rather a cell, a particular row in that column is blacked out, that means that weapon does not spawn with that particular element. There's also a separate row, separate entry for any weapon that spawns with more than one pellet count. There are a few shotguns in here with as many as 6 rows. Basically, if you want to know the times 7 instead of the times 14 face puncher, there you go. There are also a couple of non-legendary uniques listed. I'm hoping to add more of those as I go. So you can choose whatever list meets your needs. I finished my list after Kyler posted his. We compared notes, ended up fixing most of the errors in both. Kyler also graciously offered to post my list with his, which is why we only need the one link. If a viewer finds an error and lets one of us know, we chat back and forth about it and make fixes as needed. Both lists remain in sync and by and large accurate. So there you have it. Hopefully that makes sense. If you have questions, leave me a comment. If you notice a possible mistake, let either or both of us know via Discord. Our Discord handles are linked on the spreadsheets. And that'll do it. Thanks for watching.